everyone, welcome back to another episode of Dannphan's Advice. It's been a while since we've done one of these videos, and the advice that I have for you guys today isn't so much writing advice, so much as it is fulfillment advice, as there is a lot of indie comic creators who are on this channel, and I myself am an indie comic creator who's done multiple campaigns, has her own website where I sell comics and pack up comics and ship them out. So I thought maybe you guys would appreciate a video of me going over my personal process, rolling out some numbers for you, and what you can do if you want to ship out your own comic books. Now, a lot of people will use a fulfillment service, and that's fine if you have too much for, handle shipping out. But if you're running a fairly small campaign, you can do it all on your own, and it would probably save you a ton of money to do it that way. My most recent campaign, Horizon Quest, is being shipped out entirely by me solo, with, of course, I guess, the help of Adam. And this is not the first campaign that I've been able to fulfill. It's fairly easy so long as you know what supplies to get and where to go for everything. So let's go over, assuming that, of course, you've already got the printer, printed the comics, now you got the comics, how do you go about shipping them out? Well, the first thing to do is to get a nice comic bag to pack them in. This will help with any potential water damage while shipping. I always prefer getting my comics in one of these bags, even if I don't keep them, even if I don't use them. This comic bag here is just your normal, standard, modern comic. That's what Horizon Quest is printed as. It's not like Getting a Job Will Kill You is printed as, etc., etc. These are for issues, though. If you have a trade paperback of this size, it's not gonna really fit in this bag. You'll have to get a bigger, thicker bag to fit it in there. I get my comic bags from BCW Comic Supplies. Most people do because they have a pretty good deal on getting these comic bags in bulk. And they do sell them on their own independent website. However, I do have to say, their shipping price is a little bit high. I don't know, I don't really know the details as to why their shipping on their website is high, but the last time I got a couple packs of these comic bags, it was like $20, probably like over $20 in just shipping. And considering that the packs of the comic bags are only like $7, it seems like a little bit extreme. But if you want to skip over the shipping costs, they also offer roughly the same deal on Amazon. You can just get a pack of like 100 bags for, once again, like $7 roughly. And if you have Prime, you'd get the shipping free. But either way, I bet the shipping on Amazon is cheaper than on their own personal website, just because of how they're shipping it just seems expensive somehow. If you want to get them for much cheaper, you could go to a third-party website that has their supplies, or you could go directly to a comic book shop, because some comic book shops also do sell the bulk packs of 100 bags, and just, pick up as many as you need for your comic campaign, and they're good to go. When you're putting the comic into the bag, just do something for me. Make sure that the long flap is facing the cover. Then you take the flap, bend it back, and tape the back. The reason why I have to specify is because the cover should not have a piece of tape on the front. Leave the tape for the back. Don't put it on the cover. Is it a small detail? Yes. Does it really matter? Will people be upset if they open up their comic and there's a big dab of tape on the front? No, it's probably fine. It's like just a small thing, but you should be ashamed. You should be ashamed of putting a big thing of tape on the front of your comic bag. Next, what you're going to be shipping it in. I am a firm believer of the Gemini comic boxes. Those things are brilliant. They are absolutely wonderful. They're a little bit maybe pricey, considering that you could also try shipping them in a bubble mailer. But I feel like the comic is so much more secure in a Gemini comic mailer, and I feel like there's a better variation of what size comic I can ship in the Gemini mailer, while as a bubble mailer, you're kind of just looking for a specific size for a specific comic. If you are going to ship your comic in a bubble mailer, just do yourself a favor and invest in comic boards to make sure that you can keep your comic straight, because people at the post office will bend and mess around with a bubble mailer. Whereas you don't really have that problem with a Gemini mailer because it's a big box. If you are shipping it in a Gemini mailer, I like to fold all the corners first to make sure that it's easier to fold up when it's ready to tape it shut. And then you'll create this little nook for your comic where it'll be sitting. Then you take basically some packing supplies. It can be maybe some small bubble wrap, although the big bubble wrap is definitely not going to fit in this tight box. For Horizon Quest, I was mostly using some easy peasy packing paper and then just kind of folding it around the comic to make sure that it stays in place and it's not being knocked around that box too much. As far as where to get some packing supplies, honestly, I've just been saving it from packages that we get to the house, or some friends, family members who get packages as well. I tell them to save the packing material, give it to me, and then I can use it, and that way you can keep it nice and free, as it should be. And then you just tape the box shut, and once you tape it, people like to do the tape around the box, I've noticed with some Gemini packages. I don't like that. I just like the tape on the side and then fold it in to the little nook creases there so that it's nice and smooth. I think it looks a little bit more nice that way. Now next, you're wondering how exactly am I going to be shipping these out? Where do I get the labels from? You should definitely buy your labels online. Don't just show up at the post office with an address and then get the person at the desk to do it for you. For my first campaign, I used USPS Click and Ship, but what I didn't realize at the time was that USPS Click and Ship does not have a media mail option on their website. At one point, they did have a media mail option, but it looks like they removed it or something. I remember asking customer support about it, and they basically just said, no, it should be there, but it wasn't. So, doesn't help. With this in mind, you really should be using media mail to pack up your comics because you will save a whole lot more money doing it that way. So what I ended up doing for future comic campaigns is I went to Pirate Ship, which has a nice, easy peasy media mail option that you can just click off. And basically what this is a difference between paying like $6 to ship out a book and paying $4 to ship out a book. So huge price decrease there. If you're also doing international shipping, Pirate Ship also has a simple export rate. Since they're their own business, they have their own way of exporting things internationally, and that is so far the cheapest method of shipping internationally that I can find. If you know an even cheaper way of shipping internationally, please tell me. Leave it in the comments section. Just keep in mind, of course, if you're shipping internationally, that the price will fluctuate. It'll never be exactly the same. Sometimes it will fluctuate very dramatically. One day it'll be $14 to ship out a package, the next day it'll be $26 to ship out that same package. Be cautious. Give yourself a little wiggle room so you don't lose too much money when the price goes up. Most people who are shipping out comics, they just make their base price $20 or $25 just because of how much that price is going to fluctuate. And then you can print out the labels from home and smack them on your packages. You can use normal printing paper to just print out the labels and tape it on the box. Although it is much better to get adhesive paper. USPS's store will have these label papers that you can use with a normal printer, and then you can just, peel it off, smack it on the box that you're shipping out. That's nice and easy, and their labels don't really cost that much money. What I've done recently is I've gotten a zebra printer, which is specifically a label printer that prints with heat rather than ink. So in theory, you're saving money by not using ink from a normal printer because, ink is the most expensive liquid right now. However, I do gotta say, I'm not super impressed thus far. I mean, it's been fine for the most part. Obviously, the price of the roll of labels is higher to account for the fact that you're saving money by not using ink. The rough part about that printer is sometimes the print just messes up. It happens a little bit more often than I would like it to. For example, me printing 10 labels, I end up printing 16 labels because 6 of them were messing up over and over again. So if you are gonna look for a more cost-effective way of printing your labels, just, do your due diligence. Make sure that you're actually saving money and not spending more money. Make sure you get a label printer that works well. And then just slap on the label and drop them off at the post office. They'll take care of the rest. Another good thing about pirate ship is you can put in the person's email when you're buying the label so that they'll be notified that the label has been created, and then they'll receive the tracking number, and then that's it. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into doing a comic campaign, printing your own comic and then getting it shipped out to people who are buying it. So hopefully just having these bits of information on how I actually go about shipping my comics helps you in your own personal endeavors. There's a lot of people out there doing their own thing and making their own comics, and it's wonderful to see, honestly. But I don't really see as many videos talking about the actual process, like the nitty-gritty details of what you actually need to do to get the comics out there. For the most part, I just kind of had to do my own research, so I figured that I'd do this video and explain to you what exactly the process is to make it easier for anyone else looking to get into this. And if you also have your own advice to give me, something that maybe I'm overlooking, definitely let me know down in the comments section below. I'm always looking for new things to learn, new ways to do things that could be better for me. And that'll kind of just wrap up this video here. So if you want to check out my new comics, check them out on burningstarcomics.net. Or if you'd like to see sneak peeks of upcoming comics, definitely go join the fan club on Subscribestar. Both links in the description. Thank you all for following me on my own comic journey here. I'll see you next time, guys. Till then, bye!